are the generation that is poised to take over the world. They're young, they're bold, they know what they want. They are Gen Z.
For the older generation, they are a mystery, a puzzle that seems impossible to solve.
In this video, we'll be talking about how not to share the gospel with Gen Z.
For many older people in the church, Gen Zs may come across as inaccessible, hiding behind their screens. It doesn't really help to see them this way because, like every other generation, they need the gospel too.
Let's be honest, the current picture looks bleak for the church. Gen Zs and the generation before them, millennials, are walking away from churches and religion in general like never before. Still, the church can't just look at this and give up. We must understand how this generation is wired and do everything in our power to share the gospel with them. If you've been struggling with how to approach evangelizing to Gen Zs, this video will help you think in the right direction and guide you on how to shape your strategy.
So, what is Gen Z? It is the generation of people born between 1996 and 2015. That means, as of 2022, the year this video was made, anyone between the ages of 7 and 26.
Now, when it comes to how not to share the gospel, you can already start to see the challenge here. Between 7 and 26, there's a huge gap. What you communicate to a primary school age 7-year-old and an early career 26-year-old can't be the same. There's just no digital evangelism strategy that would be effective in talking to both. They're in totally different places in life.
That's point number 1. Don't try to force all of Gen Z into one group in your messaging. Rather, break things up age appropriately. Regardless of where they sit on the age spectrum, we can agree on one thing. These young people want fulfillment and happiness out of life. Meet them where they are without lumping them into one homogeneous crowd.
This next point might seem obvious, but it's worth mentioning again. Gen Zs have grown up in the age of smartphones, social media, and rapidly developing tech. They are always connected and learn best in media-rich environments.
Older generations like boomers, Gen Xers, and to a lesser extent millennials, are frequently referred to as digital immigrants because they had to adapt to the digital age later in life.
Not so with Gen Z. This group was born into the digital age and are referred to as digital natives or the internet generation. Often, they must teach the older groups how to find their way around digital platforms and technologies.
In the name of being traditional or holding on to old school values, there are still many churches that downplay and even mock technology and the digital space. This is one surefire way of alienating Gen Zs. Point number 2. Don't ignore or undermine the importance of technology as you approach Gen Z with the gospel. This is the world they have always known and are invested in. Use that to your advantage. This leads straight to point number 3. As you make better use of digital platforms, remember that you are dealing with a group that prefers messages that are delivered in short, bite-sized chunks. Avoid long text-based posts. Get to the point. Go for infographics, or even better, videos.
The final point on our list involves something we hear a lot about these days: authenticity.
This is a big one. Still, you might ask yourself what this has to do with sharing the gospel. After all, the gospel is supposed to be authentic, right? It goes a little deeper than that. It's not so much about the message than it is about how the message is presented.
Here's the thing. Gen Zs value brands that they can relate to, and which seem like a trusted friend. While many churches may not like to think of themselves as brands, in a sense, they are.
Sad as it is to say, a lot of churches come across as faceless corporations, distant and untrustworthy. When Gen Zs think you can't be trusted and are only interested in what you can gain, for example, numbers in the form of views or church members, they walk away. If they sense you don't genuinely care about them, they'll avoid you. Not only will that one person stay away from you and not receive your message, but they'll also influence others to do the same as well. Remember, this is the generation of influencers and cancel culture. Project yourself in any way as insincere or unrelatable, and you may have a hard time winning their hearts and minds.
At the end of the day, the generation gap is no reason for the gospel not to be shared. We hope that these few tips about Gen Z will help your ministry as you reach out to the young people around you.
If you have a burning desire to reach young people with the gospel but don't know how to do it, perhaps you don't have time or means to produce content, CV is there to help. Visit resources.cvglobal.co and sign up to make use of our free library of downloadable videos and other digital content.
It's you.